Hey, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of the Suzette Speaks Show. I want to welcome all of my new subscribers. It is going to be a nice, hot topic type of day for us here on Suzette Speaks Show. If you guys have never, ever watched this show, I want to welcome you. I want to welcome all of my new subscribers, those who found me through the Lead Attorney shows, those who are watching on Facebook as well. Welcome, guys. I have an extraordinary guest who's going to help us to better identify people who we can trust. If you're like me, I'm a very trusting soul. I like to try to make everybody a friend and call everybody a friend. But how many know that doesn't always work out the way we want it to? I'm living proof. So we wanted to start the discussion today by opening up this topic, which is finding the right people to tell your business. Oh, can the church say amen? How many people have ever told their business to someone and then immediately regretted it? Oh, I'm the only one. Okay, I'm the only one. Okay, I'll be transparent. Yes, happens to me. Happens to me more often than I'd like to admit. For those of us who are empaths, for those of us who are social butterflies, and even for those of us who are sometimes introverts, when we really need someone to tell something super personal to, I don't know about you, but I have more than one occasion made the incorrect choice to tell my business to someone who was not ready and who could not meet my needs. So it's something that I think is very common among people, particularly among women. I think we don't talk about it enough. If you're like me, I realize that growing up and adulting makes it harder to make friends. I don't know about you. I find it very difficult to make friends as an adult. Sometimes people, are a little bit fake or they come off with some pretense, and then you get a whole different story about why they even are around you. That's my story. So anyway, before I get into this topic with my distinguished guest, I want you to drop a comment. Let me know you're watching. I see all of you in the stream. Please let me know where you're viewing from. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If this is your first time watching a Suzette Speaks Show broadcast, I want to welcome you again. I have so much to say about this topic because if you've ever been betrayed by friends, or your trust has been betrayed by anyone who you thought you could trust with something very sensitive, this is the show for you. If you don't know what the Suzette Speaks Show brand is, we like to talk about introspective topics that build a person and help a person heal from the inside out. So many of us are carrying heavy burdens psychologically, spiritually, emotionally. And there are not a lot of spaces on the internet where we can open up and have real discussions and be transparent about what we're carrying and what it's been doing to us. And then, more importantly, how we can heal from those things. What are the solutions to those burdens? So, welcome to Suzette Speaks Show. I appreciate you guys showing some love. If you've never been here, and if this is the first time you are watching, I'm glad you found me. Please hit that like. Please hit that subscribe button. You guys know these are very relaxed conversations, but we do kind of go there when it comes to very emotional topics. And on that note, I just want to address those of you who rock with me on my last stream. Thank you to all the people who reached out to me after the stream entitled Can Ambitious Women Find Love? I myself, in my journey to help others, are oftentimes, I've said in previous streams when I started out on my journey, for those who don't know me, let me do a quick, reset. I am an attorney and a TV host in South Florida who loves doing women empowerment events. Since COVID, I have not been able to do my monthly or more often gatherings where 20, 30, 40, 50 women, and I do an annual conference every year. Hopefully 2022, it'll be back, where people gather and I have distinguished speakers and they talk about all different aspects of the lives of women when it comes to relationships, not so much, but more so on emotional well-being, mental health well-being, career positioning and personal development, professional development, and all the ways in which, we can evolve as human beings to become better. Now, I have recently been thrown into this arena thanks to the one, the only lead attorney talking about relationships. And I've shared on previous streams, I'm not always comfortable talking about that because that's not something that I consider myself an expert in. And due to, I think, a lot of the discussion that has taken place over the last 2 weeks, I did not realize even in myself how much the discussions had affected me. I see y'all, drop some comments, please. Had affected even me. And I'll go back to what I've said before. I was doing a lot of these programs for other women, but indirectly, I knew I needed help to unburden myself, and I couldn't find a way to do it. I had not been involved in therapy, but I just knew I didn't feel right. I felt like emotionally taxed and heavy. So, in planning some of my events, my live events, I was really healing myself. And I don't think it's any different from what happened here on YouTube. I say, Lord, you gonna help me get my healing right in front of everybody like that? Did you gonna have me choke up like that, Jesus? You gonna have me choke up? And it wasn't something I anticipated. It wasn't something I couldn't even imagine because I'm so in control. But let me tell y'all right now, the Superwoman syndrome season is over. We got to cut it out. We were always trying to hold it together, survival mode ourselves in the workplace, at homes, and everywhere that we are, present. But the beauty of this platform and what I want to show you is that it's okay to say I'm not okay. It is okay to say I didn't have an area in my life completely figured out. It is okay to say I need to learn some new tools so that I could do it better next time. It is okay to say, wow, I have some uncovering to do. I didn't even know this topic, had me react the way it did. I was shocked, y'all. I'm even shocked myself. Even now, I get goosebumps thinking about it because I was like, Lord, there was a lot in me. Didn't know, but I do it for you. But I tell people, if you watch previous streams, I'm doing it for me as well. So as we grow together, as we evolve together, I just want to thank you for having my back. I want to thank you guys for the beautiful messages that I receive. I'm not even going to go too deep because I feel myself getting a little emotional now. But this is real life. And we're going to discuss real topics on this forum, like ones today. Now, as I said, let me just pivot a little so we can bring it back. But as I said, today's topic is very close to home for me. Because if you've ever been in a friendship where a friend has broken trust with you, where you really needed them, and you didn't show up. Or let me turn the tables. If you've ever been that friend that someone called upon that you could not meet their need the way they wanted you to, and you felt guilt about it, or you felt like, oh, I really let them down and now you guys are not friends anymore. It is very common. It is more common than we think that sometimes when we have these burdens that we want those we love to carry with us, sometimes they're not able to. So how can we tell when it's the right time and the right person to share, some kind of, intimate burden with? We're going to talk about it today. We have to, because that's what we do on the Suzette Speaks. So y'all drop some comments. Get them likes up, though. Please get the likes up because we're doing a lot of work in here today. I have a wonderful guest. Dr. Debeka Bennett is here. She's going to introduce herself momentarily, but y'all better get them likes up. I'm not bringing her on until y'all get these likes up for real. We have a community here of folks who are interested in interpersonal growth, people who are interested in learning from one another and not being afraid to say, oh, that's me. So if this is you, let me know. Go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Thank you to my moderators. Y'all hit that like. And if this is your first time, please hit subscribe. But for me, I have had friendships go south. Let me say this. Not really old, well, actually, a couple old ones, but new friendships go south kind of quickly sometimes because everybody ain't ready to take up your cross with you, your burden with you when you need them to. Has anybody, I'm the only one? I thought I'm picking topics that you guys might be able to relate to, but if I'm the only one, let me know. Have you ever been in a friendship or in a new friendship where you wanted that friend to show up for you, particularly emotionally, when something happened, a loss of a loved one, a loss of a job, a loss of a relationship, a heavy hitting kind of like traumatic event that hits you, and you call that friend, and what happens? They don't always answer the way you want them to. And I was actually just reading, there's a Wall Street journal article talking about a phenomenon. This is a side note. I was just reading it. I heard it also on NPR where they were talking about people who, when their friends are down or their friends are kind of like in a low place emotionally, the people who try to boost you up and say, hey guys, hey, you get positive, think positive, don't worry about that, remain upbeat and those type of things. You know what the article said? that type of behavior actually makes the person feel worse. And we be trying to boost one another up. You hear the sad story, you be like, okay, but don't think about the negative girl. Think about the positive girl. We try to do that. Do you know there's a term for this? Y'all hit the like button. Come on now. There's a term for this. It's called, I can't make this up. In the Wall Street Journal, it's called toxic positivity. Have you ever? They got something new. Yes, they got something new. But I understand the gist of what it's saying. I have to go more deeply into my own research about it. But it was so interesting to me that the very real instinct of trying to like quickly counter the negative with something positive. You could do it, girl. When there's a major, I'm talking about devastating occurrence in someone's life, can often have the opposite effect than what you want it to have. We're going to talk about it today. Have you ever had a friend? Let me read these comments. Y'all come on, like, subscribe. You know how the algorithm works. I'm going to read some of your comments. I'm going to have some of your feedback. Dr. Bennett is waiting patiently. Hey, welcome. Good afternoon. Speak on it with Annie. I see you, sis. One of my originals. Hey, Sun Breeze. Glad you are in. Thank you. I felt a little kind of way. I said, let me bit my leopard on and give y'all a little something. What's up, lovely? I hope you are going to, you're so engaging. I hope you're going to give us your 2 cents. David X, especially in Miami. Hey, friends. So many of us have them. Let's be friends. And they don't be your friend, though. Am I the only one? They don't be your friend. You think you let this person into your world. You open up your space, your sacred space for me. And then you realize, wow, they ain't got what it takes. Or they here for the wrong reason. Or they was friendly. Not really your friend. Gail talking about, hey, me, what's up, Gail? That's not why I keep a therapist. I hear you. Hello, somebody. Sometimes it's safer. Hello, I need a friend, says Sunbreeze. It's just very true. Speak on it with Annie says more difficult as an adult. I thought, no. Having friends, keeping friends, showing up to be a friend, and then having that friend disappear on you. I can't tell you how many people have cycled in and out my life as friends as an adult, where I thought, yeah, you have your work friends. Some of my best friends actually came from like my first couple jobs. So some of those work friends have stuck around, but intermittent friends, you might have something so in common with somebody. You like they vibe, they real cool, and you might hang out for 2, 3, 4, even 6 months. But then it kind of falls off. And we're not even going to talk about pandemic. How many of y'all lost friends during the pandemic? Y'all still talk to y'all friends? I went radio silent. I'm guilty. I went radio silent on so many of my good friends. I don't know, especially 2020. I'm talking about like June, July, in the heart of the pandemic. Oh, it was really hard for me to reach out. I was in my own place with God. It was me and God. And I know some of them like, Sue, she's horrible. Sue, yeah, she ain't no friend. I am though. But sometimes your friends, we gonna talk about it, might not be at that time ready in that moment to go with you where you need them to go. Somebody drop a comment. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Y'all ready? We got to get deep in here. We got a wonderful guest, Dr. Debeka Bennett, coming right up. I'm going to read a few more comments and I'm going to bring her on. I don't know about you. I've been let down by friendships. I don't know about you. I've had some women who I thought would be here for the long haul. Wasn't here for the long haul. I've had terrible moments of my life where I told somebody something that I thought they would be able to meet me there in that moment with what I needed. And the response I got was like, like one of, like a TV show, gong show, like that kind of response. And I was like, whoa, did I pick the wrong woman to be in my circle? I would have been there for me. That's what I think. But everybody ain't you. And everybody ain't ready. And it might not be their fault. Maybe you need to ask them. Oh, we're going to get there. Okay, I'm going to step on them toes today. Welcome to all of you. Hey, Suzette Chandu here, watching all the way from South Africa. Another South African, yes. Oh, Lord. I can't really trust people online. Some breeze. I hear you. Ain't no way to vet them. I hear you. Let me know what your thoughts are when he talks about friendships and knowing who to trust. That's what today we're going to get into with our special guest, right? I want her to, in her practice, she deals with people and human relationships. She is very knowledgeable about how to help identify people we can trust. I don't know if you're good at it. I don't know if you have had some challenges with it in the past. I know I have, where I let people in my circle where I expect them to show up for me. And sometimes they're not able to. All right. Did you make the wrong choice? Is it you? Is it me? We're going to talk about it. Let me hear what you got to say. Yes. The fix, heal, and repair. It's all syndrome. It's all syndrome over. I hear you speak on it with Annie. Hey, Dr. Keita, DMV in the building. Love my content. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Lovely says, and even better to make the necessary changes. Keep grinding, says Rob. Thank you. YouTube, Shriek. Hey, that's what we do. I don't mind that title because that's what I would be doing if I was able to do all my live stuff. I love helping people get that aha. I love when people get that release. I love when I look out and I see a woman just change her understanding of who she is. That's my passion. So when it happens here on YouTube, even better. I didn't know it could happen through the screen, but it can. So it's something that is so important to me to keep doing this work. Y'all ready for our guest? Hey, Rose. Thanks for tuning in. Yes. Vivi says, can't wait to hear Dr. Debeka Bennett with the heart. Yeah, she's a fabulous woman here in South Florida. Great content. I can't wait, Rob. Yes, that's Ashley. Yes, Dr. Bennett. Yeah, she is in the building, the one and only. We got to use her time wisely. So let me stop. I got to, I like to give y'all some shout outs first and know who's watching. I lied in the past, but I know better now because I saw a lot of opportunities now. I hear you, Sunbreeze. I hear you, Sunbreeze. And I've not shown up for people, but guess what? You know, one thing I also noticed, and we're going to get into this with Dr. Debeka. I cannot stand, help me God, when maybe friendships that you have established for one reason, the other person has established with you for a totally different reason. Has that ever happened to you? You're there for the friend girl unity sisterhood, and they're there because that you can help them with. I'm the only one. You can help them with the business. It's great being an attorney, y'all, but it's not always great. Some of y'all think y'all coming to me to get free legal work. That's not happening. Let's just cut that right now today. And then I also, it amazes me that I don't think some friends identify your best use. I'm not a table setter upper. I love, God bless the persons that come here to help put the flowers on the table and do all that. But I'm a better messenger. And I think sometimes friends don't necessarily respect or understand other friends, which I say, best skill set, best and highest use. That might be just me. What's up? Sergio, you got my name wrong, but I still love you, Suzette. Watching from Louisiana. Thank you, Sergio. Georgia in the building. What's up, GA? What's up, ATL? James from Florida. I feel you been there. Says speak on it with Annie. RM raising her hand. The toxic positivity. Hey, they came up with something else. I didn't even know that. But you've been there where you needed empathy and somebody just be like, girl, you'll get over it. I was like, hold up. This just happened. Can I stay here for a second? Can I breathe in this for a second? Because this hit me. But instead, they want to go right to the, pick yourself up, girl. Ain't no reason to be negative. But actually, there is. Just for a second, please. Just for the day. Let me hold this weight real quick. I'm gonna try to unburden myself. But the quick turnaround of, what should I say, paint it rosy, like right now, it don't even work like that. And sometimes it can really be damaging. Rose says, I'm tired of showing up for everyone. I'm exhausted. Yes, that happens too. That's why sometimes when that next person that needs you come over, you like, hold up. I can't talk to you right now. Hold this L and don't call me till next week after you process, because I can't help you process this right now. Everyone seeks me out because I'm dependable, but no one is there for me. Oh, girl, I can't tell you how much I can relate to that statement. I was looking even at my phone. Think about the last few days. Who do you call the most? Who is your support circle? Your sister or brother circle? Who is that? Right? Who do you expect to be that? It can't always be family, because sometimes family can't love us the way we need. Sometimes even our spouses can't be there the way we need. Y'all ready? All right. I'm gonna keep going. Toxic positivity. Yes. Blame the Wall Street Journal. I'm telling you, I didn't know of it until like yesterday. I appreciate you. What you mean, peanut jelly? I have no friends or more friends. What you mean? Maybe it's what you want to hear and not what you need to hear. Ooh, James, come on now. We're gonna talk about it. But maybe I don't need to hear it from you. Is that a thing? I want to hear it, or maybe I need to hear it, but maybe not from you. And maybe not that split second. Oh my gosh. Yes, RM therapy rocks. Rose says, do not mistake friendly for friend. That's real. I call a psychic with my problems. It's peanut butter jelly. Everyone is not meant for forever. I hear you, and I'm learning that, lovely, and I'm much more at peace with that. I used to be a few years ago. Oh my gosh, this person's supposed to be in my life forever. It ain't like that. No, 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 no. Miss B Finesse in the building. Hey, Marshawn, how are you? Let me throw the cash app up. Y'all know we building a channel over here. They VV says God will close the door. I got a gift. Yes, of goodbye, fam. I can discern. Miss B, she said, I'm good at that now too. I told y'all 4 dates, about 4 friend meetups. I already know what, maybe 3. I already know what time it is. I'm like, this spirit changed. The introductory spirit now went to like the real spirit. I know exactly who you are. What is TLC song? Good ring beautiful in your mind. I hear you. Expectations breed disappointment. Is that what you feel? Thanks, Miles. They appreciate you tuning in. I see all y'all in the chat. Kinarek says, Kirnardek says, the same way our human life is temporary, so are the things we experience while in it. But there's always exceptions. Some things last longer than others, and I would include some friendships. I agree with that. Not having boundaries can spoil a friendship, says Vicky. Y'all already know. Let's go. Let's talk about it. What up, Spot 3? I see you. I see you. Nola Zakula is how you say it, Georgia. Okay. I see you. Gail, give me that. Come on, somebody. All right. Relationships aren't meant to last. They're meant to teach you about you. Ooh, wow. 813. Okay, Tampa Bay, Mika, I see you. I see all my folks in the chat. Y'all drop a chat. How are you? Wow, Suzette, your subs is twice the size. Only God would know that this channel would be blowing up. Thank you, Lord. I would never. 5-6 weeks into YouTube, and it's like we about to monetize y'all. I'm just grateful. So again, thank you to all my new subs, them. So I can't friend you up. Do my slip and slide. You know what, Van Lee? I'm going to keep it moving. It's time for everybody. It's the time for everything, good and bad, says P. West. Everything we go through contributes to our, you know what, y'all always have such good insight. So we're going to rock with Dr. Debeka. We have her for about an hour. I know she has another appointment after this, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Sia, I'm glad to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Peanut says I'm a loner. We got so much to say. What up, family? It's time to get into it with our guests. As I said, I appreciate y'all showing love. If you feel led, hit me up on the Cash App. Thank you to all those who have already given. I think I'm going to have a new background very soon. Thanks to you guys. I'm thinking about also doing a Patreon. Patreon already? Yep, Patreon already. So I'll give you some more information about what I think I want to do with the Patreon. But yeah, people have been encouraging me. Drop me a note if you think you would join a Patreon. I'm talking like maybe $5, $10 Patreon, something like this. So offering some extra content and growing the community about like the subjects that I enjoy, and then hopefully you will enjoy. So if you're interested in Patreon, let me know. I think I'm coming up. I think I'm gonna do it by December 1st. That's my goal. And to see what kind of content I want to offer exclusively to Patreon people. But support if you can. Without further ado, I got a special guest for you. She's going to be talking about how we can identify people who we can trust and people who are emotionally available to be there for us. Please, one more time, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let the people who need to hear this find this type of stream. This positivity does exist on YouTube, not only here, but other places as well. Without further ado, give a warm Suzette Speaks Show. Welcome to none other than Dr. Debeka Bennett. Yay, yay. Blah, blah, blah. Let me give you some Jamaican air signs.
I'm just kidding.
You know it's not Florida. You know it's Dr. Z. Oh my goodness. So good to connect with you. I've been watching you on social media for so long. I'm gonna let the people know I've admired her from afar, but this will be our first conversation. So I think people like, oh, she know all these great people. Like I kind of know them through social media, but I'm gonna get to know her today, like you. So welcome, Doctor.
Hi, girl. I was sitting here backstage resonating like toxic positivity. I'm so like, we gonna talk about it.
Yay! I'm so excited. Like you're bringing your expertise, all that you do. Tell people who you are and what it is you do, my love.
Hey everyone, so I am Dr. Debeka Bennett. I am a counseling psychologist and diversity, equity, inclusion consultant. I'm the owner of Hueman Connections. So it's a consulting firm that helps people have genuine, authentic relationships with their friends, with their loved ones, their partners, their coworkers. And so basically, I provide mental health workshops and DEI workshops. And I have these amazing human connection cards that I help people develop authentic relationships with their loved ones.
Awesome. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm on like person wrong, but I was trying to show the people who you are. So that's her company, y'all, Hueman Connections. So please go ahead and check that out. You'll see it throughout, and I'll also drop it in the description. So as she says, she helps people develop human connections. And today, Doctor, I brought you on to talk about when connections go bad. And it does sometimes, y'all. We're all human beings. We're never perfect. And people are not necessarily perfect for, us sometimes when we need them in our lives. So let's describe the problem. So I know I experience sometimes when it comes to people who I want to be there for me in my, challenging times, that oftentimes I try to, first of all, use some wisdom to discern who is it I should be telling my business. So I don't feel like I just go telling people willy-nilly all my business, right? So, Black folk, we're very private and we can be very like, if I trust you to tell you, I read you. I really like you and I really believe you're the one that I could trust with it. But sometimes you get kind of like a hit and miss. You open up to a person and a person is like, this is a bad time. So what you gonna do? So what you want me to do about it? Or kind of brushes it off. Or sometimes, just doesn't give you the response you expect. You're like, I just laid this on you. And then you over here with the kind of like, the shift. So explain why that happens. What do you call that? And do you see that in your practice?
Yeah, I definitely see it a lot. And I think one of the big reasons is that we're not taught how to have effective communications with not just even with our family, but with our friends, with anyone. And so oftentimes what ends up happening is that when people then go to someone and unload, they're expecting that person to understand them, to know the right thing to say, but the average person don't know how to communicate effectively into that person's needs. And so usually what I talk to my clients about, I always ask them, have you even took the time to, figure out whether that person is emotionally safe, emotionally available to even have this conversation that you want to have with them, or to be that listening ear? Oftentimes we go to someone because they're close to us, it's someone we talk to, we hang out with often, but they're not always the best person to talk to about certain things in our lives.
Absolutely. So I'm reading the comments, girl. I had to put you out because they know my face be like, because the comments are so fire. Y'all drop some comments. Let us know what you think about this topic. Suzette Speaks here with Dr. Debeka Bennett, asking her how to identify who you can trust and who is emotionally available to you when you are in your time of need. So you're saying problem number one, most people don't know how to communicate, period. Most people never taught, even in their family structure or just, in general, how to communicate well, either the problem or whether they're ready to be the solution. So oftentimes there's a breakdown there. So let's talk about how we can start to weed out, I guess, people who are not ready for our stuff and how we can be more selective. How do we do that?
So I do have a little technique that I teach my clients. I call it the bread analogy. But before I go into that, I think one of the things that we should know is really how to identify a safe individual, a person that's available. One, this person is not defensive, right? They're not dismissive. They're validating. So even when you talked earlier about toxic positivity, they're not gaslighting you. That's how I perceive toxic positivity. This person's like, girl, don't worry about that. We're going to go out tonight. It's going to be behind you. And to me, that's toxic positivity to me is gaslighting, because your feelings are being invalidated. Your experiences are being invalidated. And you're basically not being reassured that what you're feeling, what you're experiencing is real, and that you need to move on because it's not something to be paid attention to. So you want to make sure that the person that you're speaking to is willing to sit in that space with you. They have the ability to do so, right? And so you feel safe, and you can be held with them, right? Held emotionally. So that would be the first thing that I would say, before going into the conversation of unloading. You also feel relaxed. You know how you ever been around someone and you're on edge, or you don't feel comfortable around them, or you feel that if you show your full authentic self, that they're likely to be judgmental, critical of who you are as a person, and quick to tell you who you are or who you aren't. Automatically, that should give you some evidence that that person is more likely not a safe, emotionally safe individual for you to talk to. So those are some of the things that I would say first pay attention to. And then next, here's my bread analogy that I will go a little bit in.
1 second, Dr. Bennett, you definitely threw up a lot of good information. I hope I don't want to slide over, because people need to understand how to identify, because I've made this mistake. I am human, and I know based on the chat, many of y'all like, yes, them shapeshifters and all of that. I want to highlight Dr. Debeka's website is available in the chat. And Vivi is saying so true. So what you're saying is, look at how, or assess how you feel when in their presence, and look for markers of what they're saying and how they're saying it. So when it comes to dismissive behavior, or as she called it, gaslighting, toxic positivity, new word we learned today. Like, girl, you could do it. You'll be all right. Yeah. That's not what I need right now. So we're listening for listens, because the thing is, I know when I get there, it's more about what I feel and what I'm trying to say, as opposed to trying to observe how the person is processing what I'm saying. Yeah. So we first have to be very careful. We're not just in and out of our own mind and our own selves, and we want a response, that we're not paying attention to how they're already responding. So I think we got to take stock in that. Yes, go ahead.
And they should show up in that way consistently. So it shouldn't be a one-off where today, they're present, and then the next day they're dismissive. So you want to make sure that that person is able to show up in a consistent manner.
Absolutely. All right. So you guys looking for consistent behavior, making sure breakdowns in a reciprocation, making sure you're not receiving very good. Mika, some breakdown in like, ooh, where was that? Was that a jab? Was that jealousy? Was that you ever had a side swipe and you thought it was a compliment, and you like, oh, did she just slide? We call it down here nice nasty. You ever got one? Oh, okay. That was a compliment, I think. Look for that. People be giving clues, but we ignore them, guys. And again, I try to see, the positive about people, but it always is a good clue, and it's good. What my mom said, take notes. Just be like, okay. That was a weird response. Maybe it was me, maybe it was them. And I saw the question in the chat that said, what if they don't respond well the first time? Should we give them another try? But okay, we'll get there. All right. So now we've been listening to see over time what this so-called friend, as they're kind of showing us, their depth and how much we can, trust just by what they're showing us. How else can we make that determination, Dr. Bennett?
Yes. So to answer the question that someone just asked, how if they don't show up the first time, do we give them another chance? So that goes into my bread analogy. I love this because I think it's a good visual. So I always say, when you really want to test out whether someone is the right person to speak to about something, you give them a little breadcrumbs. Give them breadcrumbs and see how they deal with that. Something that is not too serious, is it's not significant, where if they responded to you in an inappropriate way, it wouldn't be as the outcome of it wouldn't be as terrible on you as the person. So you give them a little breadcrumbs and see what they do with it. You ask yourself, did I like the way that they responded to me? How do I feel after sharing this with them? Do I feel okay? Do I feel tense? Were they dismissive? So you just want to analyze and ask yourself these questions. How did I feel after sharing this information with them, and what their response was? Did it meet my needs in the moment? And then afterwards, then you ask yourself, do I want to give them a little bit more breadcrumbs to test it out, right? From there, you can decide, okay, well, they seem to be a trusted individual enough. Maybe I can give them a slice of bread, right? And so a slice of bread is you give them information that's on another level, right? So something that's a little bit more personable, and you're being a little bit more vulnerable with them and transparent, and you ask yourself the same exact questions. How did they handle this? Do I like their response? Do I feel okay? Were they appropriate in the way how they handled me? Did they handle me with care? Those type of questions. And then from there, you test it out. Okay, slice of bread to maybe a half a loaf. Or you could say, I want to give them 3, 4, 5 more slices of bread before I feel comfortable and ready to share more of myself. So you go from a slice of bread to a half a loaf, and then from a half a loaf to a full loaf. And so you take that same process. Now, what you will learn is that there's people in your life that are not going to handle all of you, which is that full loaf. And there's people in your life that's only going to be slices of bread. And there's people in your life that's going to be just breadcrumbs, all right? And you will be able to categorize those individuals in your life. But the only way to do that is by testing it out. And to answer the person questions earlier, is that if you feel that you didn't like the way they responded on that, slice of bread level, you can say, you know what, you're either going to stay a slice of bread or you're always going to be breadcrumbs, like friendship level in my life. And that's totally okay. And then, one other thing to keep in mind is that if someone is, say, a whole loaf in your life, right? They may be a whole loaf when it comes to certain subjects in your life, right? Certain areas in your life. Not everyone is going to be able to be there for you in everything that you experience personally, everything you experience professionally. They might be great at talking to you about, say, relationships with your partner, or speaking to you about your career choices and decisions in life, but maybe they're just not fully equipped to talk about other things, and that is okay. So that would be something that you'll have to assess along the way, that some people are better friends and better equipped. It's not even that as a friend, they're not great at being a friend. There might not be equipped to be able to handle certain things. And so I like to say, pay attention to that. And also, it's our job to also educate our friends how to be a friend to us.
So much good words. I'm reading the comments. I'm loving what I see. Y'all drop these comments and we'll get to some of your questions, because I think this is such a very right now topic, easy to understand. And I'm sure many people can apply it to their lives when it comes to learning just from our mistakes and learning what the good doctor is saying here as to how we can more easily identify when we are in need of someone that we can trust, who to trust, and how to know if they're emotionally available. So I'm just going to backtrack. I like to reemphasize and break down what I'm hearing. So when you say breadcrumbs, so we got to start small. I love it. So not giving everybody the whole picture, necessarily every detail. I am like, who was it? One of my subscribers here was talking about, I'm usually the person everyone confides in. Me. Usually I'd be like, first of all, how do you become that person? I'd be like, I don't want to hear it. Not all the time, and not for everybody, but people don't even give me the chance. They'd be like, so blah, 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 blah. I'll be like, oh, okay. Now I'm in it with you. And emotionally, now I'm in it with you. So I didn't even get a chance to, like, I'd be like, oh, I'm in the middle of something, but now I have to try to switch gears and kind of like open up that heart space. But what you're saying is, if you were more gradual in your approach, and I have been the dumper. Hello, guys. I'm not perfect where I'm like, nah, just sorry, that was too visual, but yeah, just a little blah. Let everything out. And sometimes you just feel like you need to. But if you do that, you may risk, that person not having been ready, or as Dr. Bennett is describing, emotionally available in that moment. Just because we want them to be does not mean they are. So understanding, and I know sometimes when things are kind of very like pressing and very urgent, it might be harder to do. But particularly if you're dealing with something that is a little bit more, I wouldn't say long-term, but is spread out a little bit more, you do not want to necessarily overload the person with all the information all at once. You want to give them a little breadcrumb, as she says, a little bite, and see what they do with it. Do they go back and talk your business? Do they throw it in your face on Saturday? Hello, we just gonna keep it real, doc. You're gonna see, oh, she threw it in my face. Oh, she told Amy. I didn't want Amy to know. Oh my gosh, she told Jess.
Mhm.
So if you are not careful, you wanting the person to be there and to be what you need them to be can sometimes allow us to deceive ourselves.
Mhm.
So the smaller the better. The smaller bites. I think that's such a good word. The smaller the bites, the better. So that you are not pressured and they don't feel pressured. Because remember, they have to be ready. If they're not a paid therapist, they don't have to be ready.
Mhm.
So if they're not ready to receive, you may get that letdown,
Yeah.
the response you're not looking for, Doc. What you hearing, Doc?
And I
I'm
would also say that even when you do have a trusted person in your life, like, so some of the things that I do with some of my friends, and I also try to tell my clients, is that, okay, you have this emotionally safe, available person, but sometimes they're not always in a space to be there for you, and that's okay. And so, one thing that my friends and I do is that, say they may call me and say, "Hey, Debeka, are you in an emotionally available space right now to be able to hear what's going on in my life?" And
mm,
I then, can provide permission and say yes or no. And that's the respect and that we have within our relationship, our friendship, that we value, is that just because I am equipped to be there for you, usually I might not be in that very moment because I might have other things going on in my life. Especially as a therapist, as a psychologist, I'm listening to people problems all the time, and maybe in that moment I'm just having a moment where I don't want to hear another person's problems because I have so much to unload for myself. And so when you're also assessing this, who this emotionally safe individual person, don't dismiss the person who can't be available to you in that moment when they normally are, because they just might not be in the position to do so because of their own stuff as well.
that's a good word. That has been me even in this season. That y'all heard that? I hope you somebody drop a comment. Make sure you understand what you just said, because sometimes we should start by asking,
Hmm.
even in the moment of your, the crisis,
Hmm.
before you go into the, my auntie just died or whatever. Just so you ever had these phone calls when somebody just hit you with a and you're like,
Hmm.
wasn't there, but now I am. Maybe
Hmm.
sometimes we got to do that courtesy and ask and say, "Ooh, are you available right now in an emotional way? Because I have something I really want to share with you, but I can understand it if you're not."
Yeah.
Maybe we start there, guys. And then we don't get sometimes the evasive, sometimes the disappointing, sometimes whatever fill in the blank responses that we are not anticipating. So
Yeah.
it might not be that they're not a good friend. They probably can't process this right now. And that has been me. I have had a couple of friends who have had a lot going on. And in this season, I have so many like pots on the fire. So even though I want to be there, it's easier for me to bless you with a little something and keep it moving, because I cannot be the phone person this time. I can't be the go to lunch with you person this time. Now I've been the go to lunch person with you in the past. Now if you want to give up on me because I can't go to lunch this time, that's you, boo.
Hmm.
But I have had to say, and it's hard for me to say I love you, but I have a lot on my plate right now.
Yeah.
And if you're my true friend, I feel like if I was younger, I'd probably be devastated. Oh my gosh, they're gonna think I'm terrible. No, now, no, 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 no. I
Yeah.
cannot have all of the burden that I already have in my personal life, and then also feel guilt about, well, I have to show up even though I have what like I would call an oversaturation right now.
Yeah, and I can resonate with you, Suzette, because I've been in that position, and I think a lot of us as Black women has been in that position where we take on a lot and try to keep on pushing, right? Because we're taught to be able to multitask and handle so many things at one time
Super
and put our
women.
needs aside. Um,
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
and I think for me last year, I was in the same similar boat as you, where I was not the best friend to everybody around me. And one of the things that I had to tell my friends, I had to be honest. I was like, I can't be the friend you need me to be right now. And I felt guilty at some points because month one passed, month two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8 months passed where I really just couldn't be that person. My cup was only full enough to be for my clients and give myself enough to get through the day with the pandemic and everything, that I had nothing left over to be this superhuman or to be the friend that some of my friends wanted to be. And so I totally resonate with that idea of, some of my friendships, I just had to be honest with them and let them know, like, I can't be who you want me to be in this moment.
I
And I
hear you.
honestly don't know when I will be able to.
Yeah, I've had to say that, and I'm a, like I want to qualify. I'm a good person, but it's not about not being a good person. See how quickly, especially women, we feel we
Mm-hmm.
got to be there all the time, and we cannot say no. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not about not loving the person. It's not about having any less, compassion for that person and what they're going through. But
Yeah.
for a time such as this, particularly in COVID, I was giving people a lot of grace with COVID because I was processing it a whole different way last year,
Mm-hmm.
particularly when people start having kids. My friend girls that have kids and a husband, it's hard for them to be there for you the way they used to be able to be on the phone, and I miss it. I have a friend out in Cali. We used to be on the phone hard, but her life has taken on a new chapter, and I love her. When she comes on visits, we go rock. But I
Mm-hmm.
have to understand, she has evolved a bit, and her time has changed because now there's family. So
Mm-hmm.
I've even had to accept it. It was almost not really like a death of a friendship, but it morphed to like a person I was talking to like 2, 3 times a week to like, okay, maybe once a month now. And it was hard. I'm sure it was hard for her too.
Yeah.
But I had to accept, like, whoa, like major stuff I will run by her, but she might need to get it in a text because if she's nursing or if she's doing whatever, she can't pick up the phone. And it's not because she don't love me, and it's not because she don't want to be there for me, but now she has, other expectations and priorities. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really difficult sometimes for people to accept that, ooh, you might have been top of the priority list when y'all was in a different phase or at a different time. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the evolution of friendship, because I think sometimes we expect friendships to stay the same
Mm-hmm.
forever. And even when it comes to like when I have happy news and I want to share it with somebody and you can see they're not really that happy for you, and you like, whoa, I thought I was in a blessed season and I thought you were gonna be there with me, and then they don't feel it, and then you like, ooh, did I like misread my friend, or ooh, you know, what does she really think about me? And that kind of thing, it can get a little dicey. Did she talk about? I love this comment. Somebody's like, "Why it's like having an interview with a candidate?" And one person wrote, I think it was RM, talking about it's like an Inspector Gadget convention. We ain't trying to make the friendships like like a whole application, but when it comes to matters of the heart, you don't always want to be willy nilly either. So I think we got to find some good, balance, common ground where we're not, all the way skeptical of everybody, but
Mm-hmm.
not always, making, I want to say a bad assessment or maybe a misassessment of who is emotionally available, who is ready to be, the person that you need them to be. Let's talk about that. What do you think about changing dynamics in friendships?
Um, I think it's normal, right? When we think about one of the reason why I pause for a second, because oftentimes when I think about friendships, um, I notice that oftentimes we put friendships in this category and romantic partnerships in another category. And I honestly think that they're the same, right? I think that when we talk about friendships, we should also kind of, make sure that we are they're synonymous with romantic partnerships. So I say that to say that the same way romantic partnerships evolve over time, right? The way how when you meet your romantic partner and the way how you guys started is not the way you engage and interact with each other is not exactly the same, say 5, 10 years later, because as individuals, your likes, your dislikes, your has matured and evolved over time. Also, your who you are as an individual, you're growing more into yourself. And so the same thing goes with friendships. And I think that sometimes our assessment of friendships is we judge it and assess it differently. And so for me, there's friends that I've known for a very long time and some that I have known more recently. And I think that for a friendship to last, right, you have to be open and flexible and to your friend, making modifications and changes in their lives, because who they were, say at 12 years old, if you guys known each other for a long time, to them being 30 something years old, it's going to be different. And I think that some friendships don't last sometimes, especially during this pandemic, is because oftentimes we're expecting our friend, our partner to show up the same exact way. Well, in this pandemic, we're all going through this shared trauma. That's what I call the pandemic, the shared trauma that we're all experiencing. And how we respond to trauma is going to vary. And we can't expect the person that we've known for a long time to respond similarly, especially when they have had a lot of different other life experiences that taught them how they should respond to trauma. And so when I think about evolutions in friendship, especially during this time, we have to look at it from many different lenses, from many different lenses.
Sorry, I'm reading keywords. Suzette says, if I be into the comments, I'd be listening
Yeah,
so
I'm
hard.
trying to read the comments myself.
No, I'm like, they keep saying, focus on the person, get out the comments. But the comments make the interest, I have some interesting thoughts too, when it comes to making sure, we're hearing other people's perspectives, because we're not the only two that has dealt with this, and how we deal with this we can learn from each other. And I remember, we're supposed to say C19, not the C word. We're supposed to say C19 so we don't get blocked on YouTube about the pandemic. We'll just say C19.
Oh, okay.
I forgot that they got stuff for that. I think I don't know. Does it take a certain amount of time to know if somebody's a true friend, Doc?
Not necessarily.
Because you're saying define friend. Friend is different for all, not the same for all. How? What? I guess it has to be a broad definition, because it is very different depending on, because you got work friends and then you got co-workers. But then there are people who I consider my friends from times when I was working at an office, and then you have like intimate friends. So I think you have layers. You have those inner circle friends, and then you have like more like, okay, confidant. And then you have like more like, social friends, or maybe like church people friends that don't really get all. Well, some people are very close with the church folk. I can, like, you have layers. How do you define friendship, if you will, or who friends are?
Yeah. So for me, and this is going to sound a little off topic, but for me, when I define a friendship, is I ask myself what I value in relationships. So what I value in friendships. And for me, by defining what I value in a friendship, is then I can determine whether someone is a friend, and what category of friend they are in, whether they're a church friend or an intimate friend. And so when I mean by value in relationship, I value reciprocity. What I put into a relationship, I want that person to be able to put back into that relationship, right? I value laughter, right? My life, my work that I do is serious. So I value laughter, having fun with my friend. I value honesty and support, and someone that's supportive, and so forth. So to answer the question of how do you define a friend, is for me, the first step is, what do you value in relationships? And then if that person is capable, and you have mutual values, can they meet your value system in a relationship?
I love this statement right here by Sandy W. Big thing is, don't give me the fake empathy when I tell you something. That's what we call it, the toxic positivity. I think that's what the Wall Street Journal has characterized it, where you're over the top. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but it'll be fine tomorrow. Sleep on it, all that. It can be that can also lead to the person feeling worse. So let's try to be aware of that and stay away from that. So changes in friend dynamics. So friends, as you were saying, first and foremost, are people, in your view, that reflect back your same values. I call that, and I'm very big on this, value system alignment. Value system alignment is very important for me, from business to friendships and otherwise. I do not like dealing with people who don't have the same values. So I don't understand how you're going to operate towards me. And if I'm operating towards you a certain way, I've been bitten too many times to realize, oh no, my problem is not you and your personality, it's your values. You don't have the same values as me. So it's my bad. I chose somebody who didn't have the same value. My bad. I should have picked up on that quicker. But I think when we talk about changing dynamics, yes, during the pandemic, that was one big change. But I do think also sometimes what you want in your life, or the direction your life is heading, sometimes changes. And I think there are friendships that will survive that, and there are other friendships that won't.
I agree.
And it hurts both, sometimes you and that person. When it's like, ooh, I feel a little sticky. I don't know what it is. And I'm praying for it to survive. but it doesn't always do that. And how about this, y'all? You ever had a good friend just tell you one thing that like sticks in your mind and like, ooh, she tried me, and then you don't want to be friends with them no more? What do you do, Doc, when you see like that one, you ain't never seen no red flag, and then all of a sudden that good homegirl say something? And I like what you were saying, Ace B, about how they speak of other people. I have
Mm-hmm.
lost trust with people just because they tell me everything about everybody else. So
Mm-hmm.
how I'm gonna tell you something when I get all the news about A, B, and C from you? So when we talk about breadcrumbs, yeah, give them breadcrumbs, but also look for breadcrumbs and
Yeah.
see, wait a minute, but I know everything that's going down with everybody else because of you. So I can't really give you all of me because I don't want me in the street. So talk about that, Doc, when it comes to maybe a break in trust. Can it be rebuilt? Should we ignore it? Should we, take the notes? Or what do we do when we have somebody who we deemed a very good friend sometimes, say something that kind of throws you off?
Yeah. I've had that happen to me multiple times, I would say,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And I think it depends on if this person is a really good friend of yours and someone that you want to continue a friendship with. I think it's okay to just let them know that one, they hurt you. What they said, what they did, didn't sit well with you. And then you have to ask yourself, is this something that's repairable? Do you want to repair it? And if you do want to repair it, are you willing to put in the effort and the work to strengthen that relationship and that friendship? Do they want to? Because they might not be as interested in doing so. And then having that tough conversation around what are the next steps? How can we move forward from here? And if that person is not willing to be on board with that, if you're not willing to do so, then the hard part is grieving the loss of a friendship, which is hard, especially if you guys been friends for a long time and that was a friendship that you really valued. Sometimes you do have to grieve the loss of a friendship, and then sometimes sometimes distance is necessary. There's some friendships that something significant can happen, and maybe talking about it immediately is not necessarily the best thing. Maybe there needs to be some space in between you guys, that conversation, that much needed conversation. But I think eventually over time that conversation should be had. The same, and then also learning how to forgive that person, and for multiple reasons. One, forgiving them for not knowing how to be a friend to you in the moment that you needed them to be a friend, not knowing what to say, not doing the right thing, or saying or doing the inappropriate thing. And then also you have to take some form of responsibility too and say, did I, if in this situation, what is there anything that I could have done to help them be a better friend to me in that moment, if that makes sense.
Yes, no, it does. Perfect sense. There is a lot of people like me too that happened to me. I'm reading it. Dave says I'm in the same situation now. Why do I mean? I guess we're only human. We're
Yeah.
only human because I think my cousin will mind me sharing something that happened between me and her. Well, I felt like she had said, "You ever had somebody just say something that try you, and you be like, is that? Did you just say that about me? Like you talking to me? You talking to me? Like talking to me? Like it was very frightening to me." And I talked to my friends about it, my circle, my intimate. I see y'all saying don't be friends with coworkers because they'll definitely go back and tell your boss everything. Do not. That's like the black people rule. Do not call your coworkers your friends unless they're black and they're really down. No, I don't. I mean, I've had some non-black like cool friends, but I'm telling you, the worst is when they take that information and they be feeding it to your supervisor. And then next thing you know, you're like, the supervisor knows I really wasn't, sick. I was on vacation. So don't get played. Don't get played. Yes, you have to pick those categories, particularly when it comes to work, very carefully. But anyway, but yeah, cuz that says something to me, and you know what? I should have just addressed it with her. But you know what I did? I'm not perfect. I said something back, kind of cold. I was like, you ever had that moment? I'm sorry, I'm human, and I'm like, you gonna get this fired real quick because really you hurt me, and I could point out what I feel like is your flaw, but I was like, how dare? But it's just maybe I don't know because we never really talked about it. I kind of iced it, and then we went into lunch like a month later, and we cooled. So what about those friendships with people that you just can't quote get rid of? I'm talking about like family, because you have people that consider like their brothers and sisters and their siblings and their parents even their best
Mhm.
friends and things like this. What happens when they are not emotionally available? Where it's like again, it's a kinship relationship that you can't just say, you know, snip snip, gone. And some people do even.
Mhm.
But what happens when it comes to like family, I would guess, would not meeting your needs? Is there a way that instead of like me ignoring old girl and then being mad and then finding a way to say something slick later and then being kind of disappointing myself for saying something slick and then being like, okay, I should have said that. Okay, it's done. And then I'm
We're all
human.
human because I've been
Yeah,
there
it
before.
wasn't the best way. I felt hurt. I felt like, oh my gosh, is that what you think about me? Like, who says that? But anyway, so when it comes to these long term, not going anywhere, especially in our culture, we ride or die with them blood ties. What happens when they kind of seem a little shaky or not available? How do we address it?
Ooh, girl, listen, that's my family. Honestly, it's kind of going back to what you talked about earlier, putting people in categories. Like my biological family is not, besides my, I have a couple of siblings that I do feel comfortable talking to, but extended family members, the person who I am, they're not equipped or in the space to be able to be there for themselves for some of them, and you know in order to be there for me, if that makes sense. So I feel like for me, I just learned to accept them for who they are, accept the position that they are at, and engage with them at the level that they are at. So they might be the fun cousin, the cousin that I could just check up on, or the aunt that make good food. So when I go over there, I get some, have some good some Jamaican food or so forth. But they're not the type of family members that I would share anything personal. I may inform them when the accomplishment was, after I've completed, the accomplishment has been done, but they're not someone that I would go to seek comfort, to seek, to be soothed by. And I think that when we can put people in positions and categories of, these are the type of people who can be there for me, and these are the people that I can share things to through the journey, right? So those are your process, your journey friends, and these are the people that I can tell after the accomplishments have been, achieved. And so my family fit into the after, majority of them.
I don't mean to laugh, but I have cousins like that. I wonder how they think about us. They don't tell us nothing until it's over with. We be like, we would have loved to be on the journey with you, but I guess they have characterized us as non-journey people. We don't get every step of the journey. Thank you for bringing that up. That everybody don't have to get every step of the journey. Everybody cannot handle every step of the journey. And I mean, I had a cousin went through something crazy ordeal with the police, and it wasn't until everything was filed and cleared up he told us, and we was like, "You got lawyers in the family? Like what?" But I don't know for him and maybe his boundaries, and we all kind of still look at him sideways, but we don't know why. But they don't tell you. And then I have other cousins too, same thing with like achievement. There's people that love to tell you what they're going to do, and there's people that will not share until, oh, can I tell y'all I did this and I bought this property, or can I tell y'all this? Some people are like that. Then I have cousins who call me who are like, from start to finish, I'm involved in the process, and I'm okay with that. Those are like very, very close cousins. So you have to pick and choose and categorize, guys. I see this comment, Kid Nardat, and I saw another one by ASP that I really like that says, sometimes friendships also have sequels. You split for 7 years and then you return. Have you seen that in your practice? And do you think that's common?
That happens. I think that happens, going back to friendships evolve. If you have a friend that is married with kids, they're not going to be able to be as available to you all the time.
Yeah.
And so, or they moved away. I'm one of those friends who happened to move away. I used to live in Miami. Now I'm in New Jersey. And so my friendships, the dynamic between some of my friends, we don't see each other often or speak as often. But when we see each other, it's as if things there wasn't a pause in our friendship.
I love those. I love where you could pick up and like nothing happened. It'd be 2 whole years. Girl, girl, girl. And like you just said, those are your solids. I have girls from college like that. that, I
Mhm.
mean, they're busy, they're also attorneys, they're living in other parts of the country, they got a family, but when we pick up that phone, it's like no time has passed. I love those.
Yeah.
Interesting observation. Ace B says, I don't like when friends share your conversation with their hubby.
Mm.
The boundaries. There are
Yes.
people that tell their husband everything, or tell their wife everything, or their boyfriend, or they baby daddy, or whoever, everything. Is this a healthy practice? I don't like talking about, sorry, my internet always want to be acting up. Why my internet? I your business. What do you think about that? Did you get my question? I'm sorry.
I didn't catch your question. I just heard, did you catch my
Do you
question?
have a question? Okay, sorry. Comcast don't want me to be great. We got 10 minutes. We gonna go hard with Dr. Debeka Bennett. I've enjoyed definitely understanding friendships a little bit more, understanding how to pick All right, we're together again.
Yes. Oh,
We're here together. No, no, no. We're together again. I just wanted you to address this one real quick when it comes to significant others and their business. Thank you. Comcast does not want me to be great. I'm upgrading to business right like yesterday. So tell me about what you feel when you have a friend.
I didn't
And
hear your question.
oh my geez. Read all right, read this question, doctor. Read this question about people who have friendships, but they're nervous about friendships because that friend always got to tell the husband or the significant other everything. What do you think about those boundaries or that boundary line being crossed? I have had this experience where I'm like, why your man know more about me than other people in your life? And it makes me
Listen,
uncomfortable. But people have this going on. What are your thoughts on this? And sorry about my internet, guys. I'm upgrading. Go ahead.
no, that's a violation. That's a violation of my privacy. That's a violation of your privacy. The moment that your information is being shared without your permission. And so I think you need to be direct and clear with this friend, whoever they shall be, and say, listen, if when I tell you something, I shouldn't have to say afterwards, don't tell this to anyone. If I wanted that person to know, I'll say, let's be on a three-way call, but I think that you should set those boundaries, have a conversation with them, let them know that it's inappropriate for them to share your information with other people. And if you find that they violate your trust and your boundaries again, then you have to make that hard decision and say, this is not the person that I can share information with again. Now, if you continue to do so, knowing that this person have poor boundaries and respect for your boundaries, then that's something you have to. Then I want to say you have to take share responsibility in that, because afterwards you are now giving this person more information to share with their husband that you don't want them knowing.
Listen, they call it pillow talking. Y'all better get off that pillow talking for you lose some friendships. They say if
Mm-hmm.
you can't keep, Patrice Gardner says, if you can't keep a particular girl code, then you're not a true friend. And I read earlier in the chat that someone characterized as a true friend that will take, even if y'all stop being friends, what you've told them to their grave. Now that is very rare, because
Yeah.
sometimes as soon as you stop being friends, you got a friend of me or a
Mm-hmm.
real enemy. One of the two. Is sometimes while you still friends, you got a friend of me. Somebody talk to me in here. You ever had people in your bosom you didn't know that didn't even like you? Am I the only one that have people in my bosom, in my close friend circle, and they didn't even really like me? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, would not miss an event, would not pop up, want to be included though, but didn't really like me. And I thought,
Mm-hmm.
jealous? Wow. Envy is a real thing, guys. And it hurt because I really rate them. I really thought they were going to be my forever friends, like till we died. But it
Mm-hmm.
was one of the most hurtful things. Y'all tell me what y'all think
I think
about
that's one of
friendships.
the hardest things when you really treasure a friendship and you want them to be around. And no matter how many chances you give them, no matter, how many, even if you have a conversation with them and they just can't be the type of friend that you want them to be, it's devastating
Yeah.
to be in that position.
They say gossip don't cut. I hear you, NW. Absolutely. Even if we fall out, I will still keep. That's how I am. I won't say all your business and all that. It
Mhm.
might hurt me that we're no longer friends, but I'm not going to purposely try to like go out there. But yes, these what Sandy W is calling the vaults are very rare. These RCC72, one of my super chatters, Detroit, said, yeah, don't trust anyone. I agree with that. I have about 6 secrets that I must take to the grave. I hear you. Envy is real, says Sunbreeze. Hate brigade, y'all. I thought it was like I was good at vetting, but I think over time people's heart can change
Mhm.
towards you as you evolve and you stepping up, you making moves, and they may feel some type of way or that they're not making the same type of moves, or it ain't got nothing to do with them though, right? But
Mhm.
there's a mirror. They feel like, oh my gosh, is she doing more? Should I be doing more? No, you do you and I'll do me. We have different paths. But people have this sense of I hate friendships based on competition, just like I hate relationships based on competition,
Mhm.
where especially among women, y'all drop a comment. We can get in that competitive space
But I
where
think, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, you
I was
please.
gonna say, oftentimes when I see that happening is that
Mhm.
the person who is being envious or jealous, they're not happy with themselves.
Absolutely.
They're feeling insecure. They're feeling they're unhappy. They're not content in the space they're in. And so being that, they're close to someone who's maybe living their dreams or being able to do many of the things that they always hope to do. They don't know how to be around and that force, that person walking in their purpose, being confident and be excited for someone like that. And so they default to being envious or being jealous because they don't know how to share and joy, share an excitement with that individual because they're within themselves don't know how to be happy with themselves.
Yeah, we got to be careful of that. That's why I try to get around as much as I can tell, very comfortable in their skin, balanced, and seem to be happy where they are. People, when you
Mm-hmm.
get around people that need something, it can get very dicey in terms of
Mm-hmm.
like the balance of the relationship. If you already know who you are, and you could be working on stuff. I don't mean need, but like need to grow is to me normal. But when there's you have more of something than someone else, it can always feel a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not content, I look for people who are content within themselves, and then we can be friends. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you don't, if you feel like you lack something in a major way, it can, I think, you look at me now, oh, she has that, oh, she has
Mm-hmm.
that confidence, let's say, or she has whatever, make it up. It can really imbalance a friendship. We just have a few more minutes. Doc, do you have any final don't Mika said in front of me is be real, boundaries on code. Yes, I hate that so much. This is not a competition. I hear you. Ace B, we can be very competitive even when there's no competition. And you I didn't know we was racing though, but you apparently in a race with me. I didn't know. You ever had those friends that like copy everything you do? You ever had that? Not
Mm-hmm.
when I was younger. When I was younger, I was like, if I cut my hair, they cut their hair. If I did this, I would be like,
Really?
you ever seen single white female? I was like, this is a single black girl. I was scared. I'm like, oh, you got my purse. Oh, you got my perfume. That
Oh
never
my.
happened to you? That has happened to me. That's y'all drop a y'all never had duplicates. I had a couple of duplicates that I was like, one in college that I was like, and I remember speaking to a faculty member who told me, she was like, I was telling her what the girl was doing to me, and she was telling me and her grown woman self that a woman was doing it to her, and she was like, dang, I didn't know they made them at 20. And I was like, yes. So that has happened to me a couple times. Drop a comment, y'all know what I'm talking about. And I like this question. RM says, I'm a vault by nature. What if you have been that quote unquote bad or let's say unavailable friend? Is there a way that you can redeem yourself if you actually do want to be friends with that person?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way, and how should we do that? Because imagine you are the person that been ignoring the phone call, or been given the toxic positivity, didn't know better, or just not being able to meet the person's need when they need you, and you want to be back with them and you don't know how do you go about making the correction if you've been the quote unquote emotionally unavailable friend?
Yeah, first you got to own it. Own that you was not the best friend to that person. I like apologies that says this is what I did. I apologize for what I did, and I understand what I said or what I did made you feel X, Y, and Z. And this is what I would like to do moving forward. If this ever were to come up. And so you're basically acknowledging that not only I'm accepting responsibility for this, I'm acknowledging the emotions and thoughts that I may have imposed on you based on whatever I said and did. And then I'm asking for your apology, and this is what I would like to do moving forward in our friendship. And you kind of leave it in their hands and see whether or not they want to have a conversation with you around this, and whether they want to repair and improve the quality of the friendship that you guys have. But the first step is really owning it and not dismissing and invalidating the experiences that they had based on what you said and did.
Yeah, yeah. Overload of a blessing can be just as hard to share. I agree with that. I agree with that. Thank you for talking about recovery. So start with a genuine apology. If that was me, I would still take yours, but I would look at you kind of for a little while with the side eye, and then we can work on you coming back fully. But I agree with you. If you know and you own it, it would probably give me much more respect for you as a person. If you were like, "Ooh, I came at you as a friend who thought she could benefit from you." I ain't gonna talk to nobody here, but I'm gonna talk to somebody here. But I saw that I was in it for the wrong reasons, and I really want to be your friend. That's okay too. I ain't gonna say no more. Okay, all right. I love this conversation. Sometimes you can't get them on one-on-one, Dr. B. We gotta say it out loud. Okay, sometimes they may believe you're sometimes they may believe you are not worthy of your blessings. Oh, that's a word.
Mhm.
That's back to the jealousy in me. That's about that. Yeah. Yes, I want to be around successful people. I love that. I like everybody until they cross my boundaries. That's what, are you a big cutter offer, Dr. Bennett?
I'm not,
Yeah.
but I'm working on getting better at
Yeah.
cutting off people when they need to be cut off. I
Okay.
will say I tend to be too understanding, and I think it's the therapist side of me because I'm always like, well, I can understand why they did or said this, but I'm learning to cut people off when they need to be cut off. That's a
So
work in progress for me.
yeah, okay, because I can imagine as a therapist, you probably would be like, okay, I know why she's acting like this. Let me help her.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I used to be like, you don't get no second chance cut off. I used to be like that. I used to be like, if you hurt me, hurt me. Oh, do not pick up my phone again.
Yeah.
I've gotten a little bit softer, but I'm not going to play a fool. You'd have to come with that type of apology and
Mhm.
sincerity and sincere change for me
Mhm.
to kind of reopen that door. But I'm very big on, I don't know. Sometimes I'll be like, that's it for you. Door got chapter closed. It's been great
Yeah.
knowing you. But I don't know.
I'm working on it. It's funny because I had a friend who said to me recently, he was like, yeah, you give people too many chances. You need to know how to cut them off. And I was like, you know what? You're right. You're so right.
You're like, I'm a doctor, that's why, but I know I'll work on it. This is a good question. Kid Nardak says, I'm curious about what the longest friendships for both of you, plus 15 years, plus 25. Non-familial, because all my cousins, I consider my friends. So majority of my closest friends are my family. But non-family speaking, I have a couple of good high school friends, like two or
Mhm.
three that I actually still we probably have. I
Let's
would
see.
say with COVID less often, but we would probably get together every quarter, maybe every 6 months. So I would say I've had a good couple of high school friends, and I have a couple like a very good college friends, and then like first couple job friends. So I have a couple layers of friendships. Thank God. I was a person, trust me, I used to believe that I needed more friends. I used to pray to God for more friends. Like when I
Mhm.
was younger, I used to be like, why can't I keep friends? I felt like something was wrong with me. But sometimes when you are a bright star, everybody can't handle your shine. That's what I've realized. Everybody is not there for, as we were
Mhm.
saying, your success. So I was feeling a lot of guilt at one point in my life about not having enough friends. Like you see all these pictures on Instagram, and the FOMO. Oh, you got 30 bridesmaids. How you got 30 friends, girl? How you got 20 friends, girl? I only got about one, two, three carried to one. And you see all these people, and you think something is wrong with you. There was a phase in my life where I thought I did not have enough friends until I got burned enough, and God was like, I already gave you some. Stop. And I was like, psh, psh, got it, God. You know what I mean? But no, this was a point. I'm just being very open. Was a point in my life where I was like, praying for friends. And I thought somebody, I'm a good friend. I thought I was, but not everybody is ready for you
Yeah.
and to be there for you. And I'm just talking about emotionally speaking, but also just with where your life is and where your life is going. I don't know if you can relate.
Yeah,
Yes, single life female.
my longest friendship has been 24 years. And the next one is 22, which is my best friend. But with both friendships, we evolved tremendously
Oh
over
wow.
the years. Where we started off as is not where we are now. And there's been pauses in our friendship. Um, there's been times we both had to educate each other how to be friends for who we were in those moments. And
Mm.
we had to renegotiate our friendship several times, right? And I think that's normal with long friendships like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're gonna wrap up here. People are loving the conversation. I'm loving the positivity in the chat. Y'all having conversation back and forth between yourselves. I love it. But everybody's been appreciative of the discussion. Some people got to come back and kiss the ring. Is that right? Detroit in the building. The Bye crew is.
Is it okay if talk to them about the cards that can help with the friendships?
Yes, yes, of course. Please do. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I have these human connection cards. As you can see, they focus on mental health and cultural diversity topics. And what
Hold
it
it
does,
right up to your camera. Hold it right up to your camera. A little bit closer.
oh,
Yeah, there we go. Human connections, which is
so
HUE. Okay.
HPE, like the hue of the complexion. But I have these human connection cards, and as you can see here, there's like different questions, and these are cultural diversity questions, and then this is like mental health. I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job, but what it does is that you sit down with a friend, you can sit down with a partner, a relative, or whoever, and you can ask different questions related to, say, how what your self-care practices are, or what's the best way to talk to you in difficult situations. Talk to them about some of their childhood experiences. There's many different questions. I can read out a few of them. So for example, a mental health question can be, what fears do you have, and how does it affect your life? And so that's a way to get comfortable and connected with a friend, and understanding, okay, when this person encounters these type of situations, it causes them to feel anxious or fearful about this. Maybe I should engage with them in this particular way. This question asks, if you can get a little closer, um, are you emotionally available to meet someone's emotional needs, and how do you know? What advice or actions have helped you heal from the past pain and hurt that you experienced? So these are example questions. If you go on humanconnections.com, you can learn more about these. I have not only the adult version, I have the kids version. So if you have kids and you want to talk to your kids about mental health and cultural diversity topics around race, sexual orientation, bullying, all of that stuff, and then also in your company. So
I
I just
love
wanted to
it. You did a great job. I love it because when I look at those, and I think it goes back to some of the conversations we've been having in general, you guys who've been following and watching the other streams when it has come to relationships, even not just friendships, but both on the romantic side and on the platonic side, the communication, we've talked about it, and the lead attorney, for those who know what I'm talking about, who have seen the past streams I've done on love and relationships, communication and the personality agreement has been like the go-to in terms of the longevity of relationships. Do you guys have compatibility within your personalities? And we talk about it here in terms of value system.
Mhm.
But having these types of, I love the Sunbreeze says, I love adult games. Yes, having that compatibility, talk about what you feel in certain situations, how you feel you would react, how you would like to respond or have someone respond to you. These are
Mhm.
ways that we can better the understanding that we have of one another. So it's not lost in translation where you did this and I thought you meant that, and now we're not talking, and now you're not no longer friends or no longer married or whatever. So it's a wonderful thing that she's developed. I want to thank Dr. Debeka Bennett brought that fire. Y'all see her website. It's also in the description. I want to thank you so much. Any final words? Everybody's still chirping along, but she got to go, y'all. She have another appointment coming up, but appreciate you being here. Again, where can they find you or find more information about what you do?
Yeah, so one, I want to say thank you for having me. You can find me on Instagram at HUEMAN Connections, so Hueman Connections. My website is the same, spelled the same way, huemanconnections.com. You can learn about the cards, you can learn about the services that I provide, and upcoming events as well.
Yay! So proud of you, sis. I'm glad you got to come by. Show some love in the chat, please, for Dr. Debeka Bennett. Y'all, please like, please subscribe. Appreciate you showing love. If you feel led, hit me up on the Cash App. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate you. And we will see you very soon. You're welcome back anytime. Thank you, sis, for enlightening us. Love you, sis. Take care. See you soon.